Welcome to GK Mojo. So today we are going to see part 3 of Parajumbles. So we are going to see two more important sets from previous year CAT and how we can solve those sets. Alright, so let's go through the basic concepts again and then jump on to the sets that we have in front of us. So as we have already seen the concept of Parajumbles, what would you do? The first step is identifying the introductory sentence, concluding sentence, alright, then finding the links or as you call them the mandatory pairs, then using connectives, alright, pronouns and such parts of speech to find out the links between sentences and which would be following which. Alright, after applying all the principles in a very structured manner, you'll be able to solve the questions of parajumbles easily without making much error. Alright, so let's jump on to the sets. So here we have a set. The four sentences 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 given below, when properly sequenced, would yield a coherent paragraph. Key in the correct sequence. Alright. So it's a theta type question. So let's go through the sentences quickly. Before plants can take life from atmosphere, nitrogen must undergo transformation similar to ones that food undergoes in a digestive system. Okay. So this does not much gives us an idea, but we clearly know that this should not be our introductory sentence. Why? Because vaguely it has started talking about nitrogen. There's no base to it. In its second point, in its aerial form, nitrogen is insoluble, unusable, and is used in transformation. Again, it's talking about nitrogen and its. So something should come before this its, right? So we have used the word its to identify that this cannot be an introductory sentence. Third one, lightning starts the series of chemical reactions that need to happen to nitrogen, ultimately helping it to nourish our earth. Alright, so this is a very good sentence, but again, the issue with this sentence is it is not very general. Alright, it has already taken a base from something else and talking about some series of chemical reaction that need to happen to nitrogen, right? Let us have a look at the fourth sentence. So this also cannot be your introductory sentence. Nitrogen, an essential food for plant, is an abundant resource with about 22 million tons of it floating over each square mile of earth. So yes, this can be our candidate for starting the sentence, but hold on, let's read the fifth sentence as well. One of the most dramatic examples in nature of ill wind that blows goodness is lightning. Oh, so now we have another candidate because even this is of a general form, right? Now, if you see the context of this parajumble, here the thing is that after lightning, we are moving on to the topic of nitrogen, right? If you would have paid attention in sentence 3, it says lightning starts the series of chemical reaction that need to happen to nitrogen. So basically, lightning produces nitrogen. So basically, this fifth sentence should come first. And you also know that this fifth sentence is talking about the goodness that this lightning is providing. And lightning starts the series. This is giving what actually that goodness is, right? So 5 and 3. This forms a mandatory pair and this will come first. Alright, of the given sentences, 5 is the best opening sentence. Right? Why? Because 5 calls lightning as an example of ill wind that blows goodness. 3 explains why so. Right? So 3 follows 5. Also, if you have a closer look, 3 mentions about nitrogen and 4 states about its importance. Right? 4 is giving a very specific importance of nitrogen, whereas it has been mentioned in statement number 3. So 4 should come after 3, right? Also, if you look 2 and 1, have a look between 2 and 1. It's a link, it's a mandatory pair. 2 explains that aerial nitrogen is unusable by plants, and 1 expands on this, right? 2 is explaining why nitrogen is unusable, right? And 1 is just expanding on that idea of second sentence. Hence, 2 and 1 is a link, and 2 and 1 will definitely come at the end, right? So 5 4 5 3 4 2 1 is the correct sequence to make a coherent paragraph out of this parajumble. All right, I hope you have understood this. Very easy. If you have got your basics right, parajumble would be a cakewalk. So let us have a look at the set 2. Again, 5 sentences are given. They are in a jumbled form. We have to arrange them so that we have a coherent paragraph, right? So we have to sequence all the 5 sentences. Let us start reading from the first sentence. This has huge implications for healthcare system as it operates today, where depleted resources and time lead to patients rotating in and out of doctors' offices, oftentimes receiving minimal care or concern, what is commonly referred to as bedside manner from doctors. This has huge implication. This first few words only indicate that this cannot be your introductory sentence. The second sentence, the placebo effect is when an individual's medical condition or pain shows sign of improvement based on fake intervention that has been presented to them as a real one and used to be regularly dismissed by researchers as a psychological effect, right? So this is introducing this placebo effect. So we need to see whether the central idea of the passage is about this placebo effect. If so, then this can be a introductory sentence, definitely, because it is introducing a new idea. It is very general. Sentence number 3, the placebo effect is not solely based on believing in treatment, however, as the clinical setting in which treatments are administered is also paramount. All right, so this is giving more in-depth information about the placebo effect. Fourth sentence, that the mind has the power to trigger biochemical changes because the individual believes that a given drug or intervention will be effective could empower chronic patients throughout the notion of our body's capacity for self-healing. All right. So again, this is some sort of related to the treatment and biochemical changes. All right, related to a drug. Fifth sentence, placebo effect. Definitely, this cannot be your introductory sentence. All right. Fifth sentence, placebo effects are now studied not just as foils for real interventions, but as potential portals into self-healing powers of the body. All right, are now studied. So definitely, this paragraph has the central idea of placebo effect. All right, and without a doubt, two, which explains the placebo effect, is the best opening sentence. Right. So we start with two. Right? Two states that placebo effect used to be regularly dismissed by researchers. Five follows this up with what now is true, right? Because five is now telling you the current reality about placebo, right? Placebo effects are now studied not just as foils for real interventions but as potential portal into self-healing powers. So five follows two. Easy. 2 and 5, right? 4 expands on this idea of self-healing mentioned in 5, right? That the mind has power to trigger biochemical reaction is just expanding on the fifth sentence, right? So 4 follows 5. 4 talks about the role of mind in self-healing, right? And 3 is kind of taking this idea forward. The placebo effect is not solely based on believing in treatment. However, the clinical setting in which treatments are administered is also paramount, right? 3 follows this up, stating that placebo effect is not solely based on believing in treatment. This is a very big clue. Hence, we have 3 coming in over here, right? And we are left with 1, so definitely 1 will be coming at last, but we'll see what it is. 1 carries forward the idea in 3 that clinical setting in which treatments are administered is also paramount. So the correct order is 25431. So in this, apart from sentence number 1, there were not many clues in 2, 3, 4, 5 regarding the connectives and pronouns. But what helped us was the idea of central theme of the passage. This was of paramount importance over here. Alright, because from one idea we could jump onto the next idea and then onto the next idea, and only in this way we went from 2 to 5, 5 to 4, and 4 to 3. Right? One was anyway we encountered that this has huge implications. So we administered that it cannot be a starting sentence. Right? But even though that was the case, we could jump from 3 to 1 easily because there was a continuation of ideas from each sentence to the next sentence, right? So always try to find out the central theme in a given parajumble. That will help you solve the parajumble easily. All right, so that's all in this video. Please visit us at gkmojo.com. Thank you.